Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Pro Cycling Manager 2020 Career Mode episode number 25. We ride with Michael Garrison as he sets off on the U.S. National Championship in the individual time trial. Garrison comes in today with a +3 race day condition. I only brought my top 3 American time trialists who all should do relatively well in this discipline. That doesn't mean they're going to be great. We shouldn't be competing for a victory, but there's a definite chance that we can grab a top 10 today. And Garrison setting off with his wonderful +3 gives him a pretty good setup and a pretty good chance.
So he's going to have to step on it to make sure of a win.
Right on the top time right now. Nielsen Palace, Larry Warbase, two of the first 3 riders to set off today, set the benchmark quite high for this one. A lot of times will not measure up to those 2 times. I don't think it'll necessarily win, but they've got a decent chance of finishing quite high, really, the both of them. Athil already set off, didn't see that, but we pick up with him. We'll set off with a 76 for Athil. Also on a +1 race day condition, 69 on the time trial, 66 on the prologue. Garrison on what I think is the last climb of the day. You can see he's catching the guys ahead of him, but he's a little down on time. He's at 3rd, 5 seconds off the pace as he heads towards the finish, but again, he's a little cooked on energy, so we'll see if he can make it there. I think we're going to have to ride about a 75. There's a good little bit of descending towards the end, and so we really need to monitor this closely and see if it's something that can be overcome. Is there any aero tuck? There's just a little. Into the final kilometer, he's still got just a little bit of energy, so it saved him. And only in the final 100 meters did we see that drop, and Garrison comes up just 3 seconds short. I bet you he lost 1 to 2 seconds there at the end, just running out of energy, but that's nearly timed to perfection, and he comes out 3 seconds off the lead. If we can go ahead of those 2, we would definitely be top 10. Oh, come on. +3 for Barta. Barta's on he's on strong race day condition with a fitness peak. He was set for this national championship, and he's got a 77.81. He could contend with that type of rating. Athil approaching the line. Let's attack the final 100 meters here. We got him right to the end. 10th place, 36 seconds. Milton Hargill goes top by a half minute. Garrison down to 4th place. Barta in good shape so far, just 4 seconds off the lead.
He could win it if he's gauged his effort well.
McNulty, Hargill, Barta. There's Ian Garrison, Eisenhart, Ben King, Powell. Michael Garrison is 9th now, so we're seeing times come down a bit. Craddock just went 4th quickest. Barta slight deficit at the moment, but I think he's okay. Don't want him to run out. I'm thinking about backing off to a 76. Let's go ahead and do that. He's not as strong of a climber anyway. He's going to lose just a little time right here. So it'll be important to see where we're at. He's down to 7th. Up to 3rd, okay. Well, actually right back in 3rd. There's 4 riders after us, all ahead of us on the timesheets. Barta, 7th favorite, and wearing that essentially 7th jersey, number 61. As we approach the finish line, we'll get that little tuck coming in just a moment. It'll allow us to catch back up, but we are going to have a slight deficit. Garrison still in 6th. Athil is 15th. 1K. Barta attacking the finish. Energy just holding out for that. 99. Push it. Second place. 7 seconds. He will not win, but he'll have a top result here. Here is Ian Garrison, Michael's brother. He is a strong time trialist, but only 4th for him. Lawson Craddock, another good time trialist. He seems down on time a bit. 4th place. Barta hanging on. Chad Haga, 6th entering this final sector. He goes 4th now. Roscoff.
That's a best time.
Into the lead by 23 seconds. TJ Van Garderen, penultimate rider. 4th entering here. Pushes Barta off the podium. And Barry, Joseph Barry, the young rider, 2nd quickest. Roscoff is going to hang on to win this thing. William Barta, 5th place. Excellent result. Excellent result. Good race day condition. I think his result probably could have, you almost feel like should have been better, but considering we're on the expert difficulty, considering he is definitely a handful of attribute points below those guys, so yes, he gets a little bit of a bonus to that. It still doesn't fully make up the deficit, and those are the best time trialists in the U.S. If they're smart, they target that as one of their objectives because they've got a real chance of winning it. Roscoff does. So 5th place and 13th, pretty good. Our 3rd rider, Athil, comes in 23rd. All 3 of them in the top 25. That is going to be worth some sponsor confidence bonus. Good result there. All 3 of them. 36.2 kilometers. This is the Italian National Championships. I brought Tintani even though he's a terrible prologuer and time trialist. Fortunately, his prologue rating means nothing here as the length is fully time trial. Unfortunately, though, he does carry a -2 race day condition, so his chances of doing something in this race were slim to begin with, but they got a whole lot worse. He's a good climber with a 77. He's going to have a very different approach to Zeta, but I brought him mostly just to get a look at the course a bit before Zeta sets off. So you can see right now, we're just under, anytime we go over 3, I want to attack this a little bit harder. That's where Tintani can really make time. And when it goes under 3, we're going to back off a little bit, lose time. Reason for it, that time trial rating's at 64. That's what he gets under 3. Over 3, he's going to use that mountain rating. It's a 77. He's much faster. I'd rather use more energy there, push harder there, and back off a bit when the percentage is lower. Back under 3. Back over. Can't push too hard, really. Energy is neutral right now, and there's not much of a downhill to this race at all. There's a lot of climbing. But Tintani should have a pretty good pace right now. 17 kilometers per hour going uphill. Somebody going 15 kilometers per hour uphill. Makes a big difference. That 2 kilometers an hour, you spend more time climbing than you will on the flat. Things are going to level off here, so we're going to back off. Here we're going at 37 kilometers an hour. Somebody might be doing 40 kilometers an hour, and they are going to pull away from him a bit. But if he saves that energy, the amount of time we spend climbing could end up with that decent result. Okay, back up over. 75 this time, we are at a deficit. Got a little downhill section coming. We're going to be climbing for a bit here. Zeta not too far away from his turn. That was the 20k banner. Not in a major deficit, Tintani, but you can see just how much ground we gained on that rider in front of us. Okay, here's where we back off. Here's where we also recover some energy just from a simple downhill standpoint. On the flat, only one checkpoint. We're coming up on it. It's almost at his turn, so we're not going to get much more time spent with Tentani. 13th on a minute 51. He's a terrible time trialist, yet he's 13th. And still has a neutral amount of energy. So there's definitely more climbing than anything else to come. So we're not going to be able to push too hard. But let's try a 73 through here. See, we are catching this rider in front of us, but his ratings are pretty low. But you can see just how quickly we're pushing past him. I would imagine he's already burnt through all of his energy. Tentani seems to be holding this fairly neutral approach at the moment, so 73 will hold that. But Zeta, it is his turn. And Zeta comes in with a little bonus to the day. Not a great downhill rating, so we'll conserve a bit of energy. We won't attack that too hard. Tentani back to a fairly neutral standpoint here. I wish he didn't have this -2. Got a +2. I think he could be in the top 10 right now. Alright, so Zeta. Onto the flat. 67 there today. He's a 0 overall. His problem is going to be the climbing. He's got great stamina and resistance, but just a 69 mountain rating. If this was flat, actually if this was flat he'd be worse. He's a better climber as well. We'll set him to a 74. Here is Tentani. Final climb. Down to 15th overall. He doesn't have much energy left here. He's going to have very little for the final stretch. But if he gets up and over, you got a downhill, you get a tuck, and then just one flat section to go. And again, he's so bad anyway. Nope, there goes the energy. He is done. He is out of energy now. There's nothing left, so we'll just push 99. It's not making much of a difference, but he almost crested out on that. And then, of course, with the tuck here, it doesn't make much of a difference. Other than he lost 2 downhill points and 1K to go. But here we go. Zeta to the finish. Not Zeta. Tentani slips to 20th. And with lots of riders to go, that'll push it back. But still not that bad of a result, considering he is such a poor time trialist. Zeta's not going to do any better in this race. So we are going to keep pace up. Keep this at this 74 for now. Alright, we're back to neutral, so he's in a very similar place to where Tentani was at this point. But only 23rd, he's already 2 minutes behind. Set him to a 71. You know what, let's keep it a 70. I think this climb's going to be pretty hard for Zeta. Yeah, you can see the checkpoint time is really dropping. He's already out of the top 30. Tentani's down to 27th overall. Zeta still has a little energy though, so he has made it. He'll be able to attack this flat section at least. And he'll really pick up some time in here. Went a little too hard. Jumps him up to 23rd, but that's pretty similar to finishing 32nd. But it means he didn't lose really additional time. I mean, he was 3:01 behind. He finished 3:16 behind. So only 15 seconds, and that last sector is still a lot of climbing. So that's pretty solid. And it's ahead of Tentani. His time trial rating being better than Tentani really helped him out. His race day condition being neutral and not in the negative helped him out. I think Tentani easily could have or should have beat Zeta with the amount of climbing involved. Damiano Caruso wins by country mile. Fellini is a minute 26 behind. Cataneo and Fabro same time. On to the road races. This is the U.S. National Championship. It is the all too familiar course, that I love that really creates a good opportunity to do something. Come on, where are you? Okay, Garrison. Barta. A -1, but actually not hurting anything. Barta, I want you in the break.
Breakaway at the front.
Telford, nice condition, buddy. Thinking about sending 2 up the road, actually. Want to send Telford? Nobody's going to care about him. He could do the work, and Barta can reap the benefits. Let's see what happens if we try to get Telford away. Alright, let's set these guys up. For Mark, definitely the strongest, and I think Garrison or 8th Hill. 8th Hill's a little stronger. Still had a few riders trying to get away, but there we go. We're in. And we're seeing a new attack of riders trying to get away. Set these guys up so nothing happens to them. Gap's a minute to the Peleton. 7 chasing 2. It's about to need to be 9 riders. And what do we have here? Taylor Eisenhart, Alex Howes. Barry's here, but he's not a great road racer. Miguel Bryan's really tough to beat in a sprint. But this is pretty punchy. So we got 9 riders a minute and a half away. And that's enough for me to tell Barta to sit on. Let Telford do the work. It's like Alex Howes doing the same with his teammate in the bunch. Everybody else is solo on their teams.
It's now over 2 minutes. The peloton has slowed right down.
We're still a minute 10 away, so they have not pulled us back on this lap. And we're at 3.5 laps worth of time to spare, so we're holding out a little bit. I need to send somebody to get water.
The Entente in the escape group is
Granigan
cordial.
is done.
There are
Orion
no
hanging
riders
on.
who want to do
Let's
it
get
alone.
him back to get that last round of water. Telford almost done. That means this group is largely almost done, but Barta can hang on. I just hope he's not alone. You can see a lot of the guys. Mannion, Jorgensen, Barry, only a few guys with enough energy. Telford giving it his all. We're out at a minute 25. Alright, minute 30. You know what? Barta, you're going to commit now. But we're not going to commit quite as hard. You're going to set an 87 tempo. Telford's dropped. So there's 8 left in the group. Telford's done his job. He's given this group a real shot. It's a minute and a half over the Peleton. We have an attack though. McNulty, Dombrowski, Sepp Kuss. These are all the contenders. Paulus, Quinn Simmons back in the group. Okay. Anderson. Time for me to do something. Granigan got dropped, by the way. Just right there. 22 riders in this group. Hawaiian. Chase him down. Let's actually do it this way, and we'll get Athil. Follow. For Mark is definitely going at the back. Did I decide that Garrison is doing a little better? Yes. 25k. Can't let that group get away. Alliance going to put that pressure on. Meanwhile, Barta, I'd have him go solo. But that's not going to work. Minute and a half to my group. They're still just behind. There's Telford going backwards. Right out the back. That's how heavy the pace is. 22 in the group. And we're back together. We are back together. I will not chase this down. I just want to get back towards the front with Orion. There we go. And now they sit back up. Barta, meanwhile, working. Not alone. Jorgensen with him. We're starting to see the group attack itself, really.
There's a breakaway in the leading group.
I'm going to leave behind a few riders. I don't want to attack the whole group. I just want to keep a strong tempo up. So if we leave 4 behind and we're down to 4, as long as they work together, that's good with me. 2 minutes. Back to a 2-minute lead with 2 laps to go. It's all back together here. But guaranteed there's a lot of fatigue in this group. I want Barta to sit up. But we're guaranteed a top 8 if he works. Now guaranteed top 7 if he works. If he sits up, Peleton comes back. So hopefully these guys can drop like flies. Most of them are very tired. Single lap to go. Lion. Here it comes again. 4 riders attacking? No. Yes, 4 riders have attacked. 12k to go. Lion. Great downhill guy. You've got to close that down.
Oh my, that's a spectacular.
Oh, Miguel Bryan's down. That's from the breakaway. We're down to 6 now.
Only 10 kilometers.
One of the front riders has been dropped. There are just 4 left. This is really hard to manage. We're trying to chase those 4, but we're also trying to watch Barta from the front. 8k to go. Final descent. Final lap. 6 in the group. Will they finish top 6? It's a small gap to those front 4. And meanwhile, it's a small gap behind it to the front 4 as well. Alright, Lion, go buddy. Go, buddy. Pull it back.
He could go all the way. Five kilometers remaining.
Just over a minute. Gel time. Gel time. Hawaiian's done. Athel needs to go. We'll hold off on Vermark just a little longer here. Barta. We need to go. Not necessarily right here. We're going to just slowly get in position after this left-hander. Right up here. That's the time to attack. 2.8k. Alright, back to here. Athel. Strong position. It's back together. We're a minute behind. And we can use that gel. We definitely want to go 99. So here is Barta. Not... Oh, we are sprinting. 2k to go. Getting some separation. Okay, Athel. 2.2k to go. Same corner. Down to 21 riders. Barta, 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 Barta. 99 to the finish. Come on, buddy.
There we go. The sprint is on. The riders are setting them.
He's got separation. He has got some separation.
A rider
Meanwhile, here is Athel on his sprint. Garrison, 1.4k to go. Barta. Last couple of bends. We've got 9 seconds. Oh, no. Alex Howes. Of course it's Alex Howes. Third place for Barta. He's out of energy. For Mark. Sprint. 700 meters. Barta. Can we hang on for third?
His aim was
Alex Howes takes the win. Jorgensen second.
Disappoint his teammates.
Here's Vermark coming through the pack. He'll have a top 10, it looks like. Maybe. It's going to be close. No, he'll miss out top 10. He's going to have about 12th. 13th. But Breakaway does hang on, largely thanks to first the efforts from Telford. Really kept that gap away when the Peleton was closing it back down. And then Barta to finish the job, set that up, but it helps just at the very end in the final 10k or so, where we really knew that if we lift the pace, Pack's going to catch us. That's worse, right? What happens then? Well, what happens then? You take away 5 riders at the front, we were 8th. So we get caught by the pack. That's not good. For Mark, it looks like I could have sent a little earlier, but he's not beating those guys head to head. Not likely anyway. So maybe if I wasn't totally focused on Barta, I would have timed his attack a little sooner. Maybe not hanging on to Athel, who was attacking when it was time to send Gareth. Either way, still, really good result. And again, if I don't attack with Barta, that group gets swallowed up. So they're gone. They're out of the picture. Those 5 riders left aren't there. We took third out of the group because we saved ourselves till late, but Howes saved himself. Jorgensen at times was definitely saving himself, and those 2 were stronger riders in the group. You can see the top, 5 were all from the breakaway. And then Vermark would have been 8th, with Quinn Simmons winning at the top. Spanish Championship still to come. That's the last big objective that we have. A podium place could and should give us a little bonus. None of the time trials, though, did that. Sponsor did not care about any of our time trial positions. So the top 10s that we had there, nothing doing. We've got 2 things to look forward to. One is Zeta coming along, Banaszek coming along. Let's start by looking here at Banaszek, who has jumped to a 74. Training-wise, we've been working on Northern Classics. So what did he get out of it? Cobbles up to a 70. So definite improvement there. Stamina up to a 75. So Banachek has improved in those areas. Now a 74 overall. Huge news. Umberto Zeta. Now a 78 overall. Regional reputation. Still has that 5 to 8 potential. Flat all the way up to an 80. He's training classics as well. Flat is an 80. So that gives him prolonged pace in small groups late in a race. Mountain and hills are tolerable. Cobbles up to a 75. That's about 1 point higher. Sprint at a 66 gives him a little bit of pace to beat others out. Downhill's tolerable. Barradur is okay. Stamina up to an 83. Holy cow, he can just ride and ride and ride. Long races are going to be his strong suit. Against the teams we're up against, that cobble rating will do very well. That resistance still needs work, though. I might move him onto a different training regimen now. I mean, I'd like the cobbles to come up a bit. He's got the stamina, he's got the flat. Really, all he needs is that cobble rating to come with it. But if we work on, like, say, puncher, give him that extra diversity, he'll pick up some resistance, hopefully. He might get a little downhill rating. He might get some acceleration points to be able to actually beat out a group. But with that extra hills and good cobble, we could definitely see a lot of classics victories from Umberto Zeta, who, amazingly, the 20-year-old is a 78 overall already. This will set us up for Continental Pro almost certainly this next season by himself. He'll carry us into that level. What a tremendous rating. Keeping him the year after, though, I don't know how I'm going to pull that off. He is going to be crazy expensive. We can get him to that 100% where he'll give us, and we can make him absolute leader, and we can give him 100% evaluation of us, no problem. But how I can afford whatever salary he will demand, I don't know. I don't know. But that's a problem for next year. That's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to hit that like button, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there, and bye for now.